Alright, so today I'm gonna be watching this cool video, scary video, and see how it goes. So let me be quiet and shut up. Created by some bright rounds. The lawnmower sniff incident.
One evening, I got home from work, not exactly feeling my best. I knew a nice long shower would do me some good, but then I saw an empty bottle of conditioner on my bathroom counter. I'd left it there a night or two ago, thinking it would remind me to get more on my way home. Luckily, I live about 5 minutes down the road from Walmart, so I stepped out for a quick trip. With only about 30 minutes left until they closed, finding parking was easy in the middle of the night, but it gave me quite a different problem. Loitering in front of the store, eyeing me before I even got out of my car, was a creep. He was a strange, gangly man, looking as much like a zombie as he did a living person. His eyes tracked me without blinking as I made my way across the parking lot. I was hoping the guy would not engage with me, but that was just wishful thinking. Approaching the entrance, I did my best to keep my eyes forward and down to ignore him, but it didn't make a difference. At that critical range of about 20 or 30 feet, he called out to me and stepped closer. "Excuse me, miss.
I'm sorry, but I don't have anything to spare.
Can I get a sample?
I said I don't... Wait, what?
You seem sweet and savory like a nice, thick piece of..."
Hey, back off!
Before I knew it, the creep tried hugging me. Fortunately, I was quick enough to duck inside the store and get the attention of a few nearby people, including an employee, so they stared him down as I continued through, giving me a chance to put some distance between us. Brushing it off, I headed for the bathing aisle. I knew exactly where my conditioner was, so it should have been an easy grab and go. A minute tops. Of course, when I got to the shelf, my conditioner was either out of stock or replaced with something else, because it just wasn't there. Annoyed, but determined to make the trip worthwhile, I looked around for the next best thing. As I stood there weighing my options, I got lost in all the different brands and scents and sizes, but I took my time. I was alone, or so I thought so I wasn't in anyone's way. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, I heard a sniff. At first, it barely registered. It was too quiet to pinpoint exactly which direction it came from, but it still tipped me off. I wasn't as alone as I thought, even so late at night in a part of the store that's never very crowded. However, when I looked around, I didn't see anyone. I figured I had just heard somebody on the other side of the shelf take a whiff of a bottle of shampoo. I started opening up to the idea of small talk with another woman, something to cleanse my palate from the previous interaction. Maybe I could make a joke or ask for a recommendation. Maybe they knew where to find what I was originally looking for. Sadly, that fleeting daydream vanished in the very next instant when I heard another sniff. This time it was louder, deeper, and unmistakably.
Yeah, with what? What do you need help with? My bad, guys. Hold up.
You just throw it in the trash so I can put it in the bag. So.
Alright, guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had to do something.
Right behind me, my body froze in terror. I wrenched my neck to look over my shoulder, and there I saw that man that harassed me outside the store. He was crouched below my waist, burying his face into the back of my pants and sniffing my... I ran for my life. Every single inch of my skin was crawling. Even as I frantically complained to the employees at the front, I was still unsure if I was going to throw up or not. But thankfully, I managed to hold it together. Moments later, security apprehended the freak and held him at the store until police arrived. A quick check of the security cameras revealed he'd been sneaking in sniffs of my butt for several minutes before I noticed, but at least it provided ample evidence to arrest him. Afterwards, I stayed in contact with the police. I wanted to do everything I could to make sure he never preyed on another woman again, but unfortunately, it was already too late for that. As it turns out, He was a registered offender from a conviction nearly 5 years prior to the incident.
Yeah.
Even worse, he had recently been caught multiple times for the exact same depraved shit he was doing to me. It's clear he's never going to change and probably has no desire to do so whatsoever. The only good that came of this is that he is put away somewhere he will never be around women ever again. Ever since that night, my anxiety has been crippling. I can't stop looking over my shoulder, always expecting to see someone taking advantage of me. I don't even want to go outside unless I'm with someone I trust, and that number of people is smaller than it's ever been. On a more personal note, I am also now heavily triggered by my own body odor. No matter what it smells like or what part of my body it's coming from, whenever I smell myself, I get furious and terrified at the same time. I can't rest until I've scrubbed and rinsed myself raw, until I'm cleansed of whatever that sick freak wanted of me. A registered offender was arrested after he sniffed a woman's rear end. Police were dispatched after a report of someone loitering in the women's department. Their investigation led them to a nearby Walmart, where they used the store's surveillance system to track a man following a female customer. The officers watched as the suspect followed the woman, crouched behind her, and engaged in lewd behavior by inappropriately sniffing her bottom. The suspect was 38-year-old Khalees Caron Croder, who we previously made a video on for an eerily similar incident at a bookstore, so be sure to check that out. Crowder has a documented history of arrests and similar incidents dating back to 2021. He has since been detained.
It was the stock market that started history's greatest wave of wealth creation.
Oh my god, guys, that's scary. Second video.
This happened around Valentine's Day a few years ago. At the time, I worked at a local food store, and I was staying in a small house with a roommate. We'd known each other for a while, and I felt safe living with him, despite being a single woman. On a random day at work, the store was slow, so I was just minding my business at the register when this middle-aged guy walked in. He scanned the room almost like he was lost, unsure of what kind of store he was in. But then he found me, and his empty face lit up with a sudden dumb smile. Reflexively, I smiled back, putting on my customer service voice and greeting him like any other person.
Hello. Looking for anything in particular?
Oh, I think you know.
Well, I'm not a mind reader, but we got hot food, cold drinks, cigarettes, you name it.
All right, then. You.
Excuse me?
You said name what I want, and I want you.
Oh, you know, we don't sell people.
You know, I like a woman with a sense of humor. How about I get your number instead?
How about you buy a lottery ticket? Will those digits work?
That'll do. For now.
In the beginning, I didn't think much of this guy. Unfortunately, this man, whose name I learned was Damien, went beyond flirtation into full-blown obsession. Instead of coming in 2 or 3 times a week like a typical regular who had a crush on me, Damien came in every single day, usually more than once. Each day, he would try to get at me in different ways, starting with cheesy pickup lines and cheap gifts from the drugstore across the street. But his attempts became dirtier, creepier, and wilder. And then came February. Every single time he showed up, he told me how many days there were left until Valentine's Day. By this point, I was really starting to hate him. And on February 14th, I was finally done. A few hours before my shift ended on Valentine's Day, Damien came in and sulked around the store for a bit. When he came up to the register, he put a pack of condoms on the counter, then stared at me saying,
I'm really excited for tonight.
Oh yeah? Why's that?
I have my bedroom set up for a very special date. I've got wine, chocolate, Plan B, and fresh bed sheets to soil. But I was wondering, can you give me these for free?
And why the hell would I do that, Damien?
Well, because they're going to be inside you later.
You know what? I'm done. Get out!
What?
I said get the hell out of my store before I call the cops!
Fine. Raw it is.
After one final sickening remark, Damien left. For the rest of my shift, I tried to not let the whole encounter bother me. When it was time for me to go home, I was paranoid just to walk to my car, thinking he could be waiting for me outside the store. I then made it to my car and locked the doors immediately. That put me at ease. I wasn't concerned about him at all on my drive home, nor was I worried about the walk from my car to the front door of my house. I lingered in the foyer as I slipped off my shoes and put my keys up on the hook, calling out to my roommate to see if he was home. It was Damien. He ran inside my home and held a knife to my stomach. I couldn't even react.
Happy Valentine's Day, sweetie.
Please get out of my house. I'm not alone.
Bullshit. I've waited here all day. I know you're lying.
Help! He's got a knife.
You bitch!
The moment he stabbed me, my body froze from utter shock. I couldn't breathe or move. I was stuck standing there, looking at his face of pure evil and hate as he stabbed me again and again. Finally, I heard my roommate's voice. He was shouting, but he sounded like he was miles away. He managed to scare off Damien. Then he locked the door. When he looked over at me, reality finally caught up, and I collapsed. My roommate stayed with me and called 911. He kept telling me to stay awake to keep me from passing out. I focused on the pain of him pressing his body weight into my abdomen to slow the bleeding. At last, the ambulance came. With a drip of morphine and a bag of blood, they told me everything would be all right. I'm lucky to be able to say they were telling the truth. I recovered, albeit with a chunk of PTSD to work through. Thanks to the help from my community, Damien was arrested. I'm immensely grateful to them, and most of all to my roommate. Had he not been home, had he not acted in my defense, something far worse could have happened to me. If not for him, I might not even be alive. A customer who frequented a store in Connecticut stalked an employee before stabbing her 7 times on Valentine's Day. Damien Davis, 35, is charged with assault, home invasion, burglary, and stalking. The victim is alive but injured. According to the documents, Davis was known to frequent Sam's food store in Manchester where the victim worked. On the evening of the stabbing, surveillance camera captured Davis crouching near basement doors outside of the victim's home. He was described as wearing a complicated hooded face mask. When the victim came home shortly after 7 p.m., Davis opened the door and went inside after her. A nearby Ring camera recorded screams from the victim. A few seconds later, Davis is seen fleeing the home. The victim's cousin, who was also in the home, reported witnessing the suspect stab the victim in the stomach. Prior to the incident, Davis hung out at a smoke shop telling others he was dating the victim. A witness there said Davis made a lot of inappropriate lewd remarks about the victim. Following the stabbing, from her hospital bed, the victim told her mother that she knew who her attacker was because he had come into the store earlier that day. Police tracked Davis down and arrested him. Davis told police where he ditched the knife, and also admitted to slashing tires in the victim's driveway in a previous incident.
Damn, guys. Should I do till it ends, the movie ends, or should I do it for like only a little bit? Hello. Oh, my sister, guys.
A lot of people have been telling me I'm lucky I haven't died or gone to jail yet. I don't think luck has a single thing to do with it. The New York City jewelry business saved me from a whole lot of trouble. I don't mess with any of that shady shit. I do things right. Honesty keeps the people coming back to me because they know I'm 100% real. Every day I have to manage my anger issues, or I might crash out on the first person that asks for it. Everybody gets on each other's nerves constantly. It's a fact of life around here. I gotta deal with all types of customers, posers, and thieves. But there's one type of person I really can't stand, and it's some of the other jewelers in the city. Don't get me wrong, I respect rivalries, but there's a difference between fair competition and the kind of sneaky, conniving crap these rats get up to. They lie, cut, scam, and rip off every customer they can, making all the rest of us honest jewelers look like crooks too. There's a certain individual who's more guilty of this than anyone else. His lawyers are relentless, so I'll just call him the scammer, because that's what he is to his core. Our shops are close together in the Diamond District, and he takes full advantage of his proximity to my store to use my personal brand for his own gain. Time and time again, I've had people come up with something they claim they bought from me,
only for them to later find out that it wasn't the same quality we advertised, or that the piece was completely fake. They asked me for a refund, and because I'm a good businessman, I work with them. I asked to see the receipt, and once I get a hold of that, I find out they never bought it from me in the first place. They bought it from the scammer. He knows people trust me, so he lies and says we're business partners selling the same stock, when in reality his shit is garbage. The first time it happened, I couldn't believe he had the balls to use my name while ripping someone off. I honestly thought it had to be a mistake, so I refunded it and said nothing, because I have a little something called integrity. Then it happened again, and again, and again. That slimy bastard would use my name anytime he wanted to rip someone off. I don't know how many people he scammed who never even realized it, but with each person that came to me with proof, my patience got thinner and thinner. When I tried to be reasonable with him, I was ignored and cast aside like the worthless crap he peddles from his store. He thought I was just gonna let it happen, let him tarnish my name, ruin my legacy. But for so long I tried to keep my emotions together. But then, one of my most loyal customers came in after getting duped by the scammer. They were sold a bracelet that might as well have been made of tinfoil and yellow spray paint, and that rat charged them like it was 14-karat gold.
I think you'll find this one particularly dazzling. Platinum hands, mother of pearl face. And that adjustable solid sterling silver chain makes this watch a steal at only $5,999.
It sure is beautiful. I just don't know if I can afford it, though.
No worries, madam. We offer payment plans with interest rates as low as 30%.
Where's my money? Where's my fucking money?
Oh, dear.
I said, where's my money, bitch? VVS? High 3? 14 karat? This is a piece of plastic you sold using my name! My fucking name! Can I get a little help over here? Get him away from me, please! Lying rat bastard piece of shit! Come here! At the last second, the scammer's cronies got a hold of me and pulled me back. They dragged me out of the store, saying I was lucky I hadn't hit him. Otherwise, I'd be going to jail. I was still pissed, but I knew what they were saying was true. I almost crossed the line. After a few minutes, I calmed down considerably, enough to go in and try talking to the man again. I knew he was just a scammer, but I was telling myself I needed to talk with him man to man. Screaming and fighting would get us nowhere, and at the end of the day, I had my customers' faith in me on the line, so I needed to do this right. There was still a scene when I approached the scammer the second time, but it was much calmer. Yet what did he do? He spat in my face. I grabbed that son of a bitch and smacked him, right before his bodyguard swarmed in all over me. I kept going for that rat, and he deserved it. The whole store turned into a goddamn brawl, and I was at the center, getting pulled away from my target, then beaten until I finally managed to break loose and get away. When the dust settled, I found myself in the hospital. But you know my favorite part? The scammer finally found himself where he belongs, in jail. However, I'm still waiting on my money.
Rival jewelers in Manhattan's Diamond District erupted into a wild caught-on-camera brawl Friday afternoon in front of stunned shoppers, landing 2 business owners in cuffs and another in the hospital. Georgia K., 46, and his brother, 42, were both busted for allegedly pummeling their competing jeweler, Trax NYC owner Maksud Agajani, during the violent clash inside their shared business space on West 47th Street. The melee unfolded after Trax, 39, stormed into their store, Arcade Diamonds, accusing them of ripping off both him and his customers in a viral social media post. Security eventually let him out of the store, but in a second clip, the feud between the rivals reignited before the brother spits in Trax's face, sparking an explosive clash that led him swarmed by a pack of men and allegedly beaten down. Trax was taken to a hospital where he recorded another video showing off red marks around his neck, saying the rivals tried strangling him with his own chain. The Akay brothers were charged with assault.
Actually, guys, I'll make a part 2 of this, so I'm sorry here.
As a young